अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धास्वान्तस्थमीश्वरं सिद्धास्वान्तस्थम् ईश्वरम्। हरि ओम नामस्मरण। केशवं रामकृष्णं वन्दनं केशवं रामकृष्णं वन्दनं ईश्वरं राघवेन्द्रं वन्दनम्। ईश्वरं राघवेन्द्रं वन्दनम्। केशवं रामकृष्णं वन्दनम्। ईश्वरं राघवेन्द्रं वन्दनम् माधवं मोहनाङ्गं वन्दनम् माधवं मोहनाङ्गं वन्दनम् अच्युतं सुन्दराङ्गं वन्दनम् अच्युतं सुन्दराङ्गं वन्दनम् शाश्वतं शक्तिरूपं वन्दनम् शाश्वतं शक्तिरूपं वन्दनम् श्रीपतिं कान्तितेजं वन्दनम् श्रीपतिं कान्तितेजं वन्दनम् केशवं रामकृष्णं वन्दनम् ईश्वरं राघवेन्द्रं वन्दनम् निष्कलं शुद्धबुद्धं वन्दनम् निष्कलं शुद्धबुद्धं वन्दनम् निर्गुणं नीलवर्णं वन्दनम् निर्गुणं नीलवर्णं वन्दनम् श्रीधरं वासुदेवं वन्दनम् श्रीधरं वासुदेवं वन्दनम् ज्ञानदं योगरूपं वन्दनम् ज्ञानदं योगरूपं वन्दनम् मङ्गलम् आत्मदेवं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलम् आत्मदेवं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं परब्रह्मं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलम् आत्मदेवं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं परब्रह्मं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं आत्मदेवं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं परब्रह्मं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं परब्रह्मं मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं परब्रह्मं मङ्गलम् Harihi Om. Avidya, or in other words, which is called as Maya, is responsible for the appearance of Brahman as Ishvara, the God, Jiva, the individual soul, and Jagat, the world. It is the avidya that veils, that conceals the true nature of Brahman and distorts it in the form of God, individual soul, and the world. Avidya or Maya, inspired by the presence of reflection of Brahman in it, transforms itself into the form of universe. When we look at the transformed universe, or when we look at the universe, we keep thinking what became this universe. So here is the answer to that question, that Maya, inspired by the reflection of Brahman in it, transforms itself into the form of universe. That is why Maya is called as transformative material cause, Parinam Upadana Karana. Something has to transform itself. So Maya transforms itself. By itself it cannot transform into the universe. It has to derive that inspiration from the reflection of Brahman. That is why it is called as transformative material cause. Whereas Brahman, without getting transformed, because there is no transformation in connection with Brahman, but it appears as the universe. In other words, it is the transfigurative material cause, Vivarta Upadana Karana. Without actually getting transformed, it allows the appearance of the world, the universe in it. It appears as the universe. Traditionally, when we remember the rope, without getting transformed at all, it appears as the snake. To an ignorant person who is ignorant of the knowledge that rope alone exists, it appears as the snake. For the snake to appear, the substratum is the rope. The substratum appears as the snake. It is not transformed into the snake. It appears. Similarly, the seashell, because of the ignorance of the person, it appears as the silver. The one who does not know that it is a seashell, from a distance notices it and thinks it is a piece of silver. Seashell did not transform itself into silver, it appears as silver. It's an appearance. For appearance to appear, there needs to be a substratum. And that substratum is Brahman. That is why it is transfigurative material cause. It doesn't transform, transfigurative. Vivarta upadana karana. So what actually appears as the universe is Brahman. It appears as the universe. But what transforms itself is the Maya, the material. The material is the Maya only. By itself it cannot do, it needs the touch of the Supreme Consciousness. Only because of the presence of the Supreme Consciousness, it can transform itself into the form of universe. So Brahman, viewed from the angle of transfigurative material cause, is called as Ishvara. Maya is the upadhi of Ishvara. But it does not veil Ishvara. It only helps him in projecting. Because of his presence, it projects. In a limited way, we say that it helps. So, when we look at the avidya, it is said that avidya superimposes itself on Brahman and superimposes the universe and all the objects on Brahman. Adi Shankaracharya ji says, avidya is Parameshwara Ashraya. It depends on Brahman. It is not independent, it depends on Brahman. Sureshwaracharya ji, a disciple of Sri Adi Shankara, who is also illumined and enlightened, he says, avidya is something other than or opposite to the knowledge. These definitions are very, very useful and important. Something other than or opposite to the knowledge. Padmapadacharya, another illumined disciple of Adi Shankaracharya ji, says, this power called as avidya is related to Brahman. Very clearly he has said. Is related to Brahman. It is not unconnected to Brahman, it is connected to Brahman. It is related to pure consciousness. Beginningless avidya, because all other happenings and then the unit of measurement called as time is dependent upon the happenings, have happened only after Maya. So it is beginningless. That is why it is called as Anadi, beginningless. But even though the Maya is beginningless, it ends with the knowledge that has a beginning. That has a beginning in us. We gain that knowledge from the scriptures and from the teachers and the Sadguru and the masters and the Upanishads. And because of that knowledge which has a beginning in us, the avidya ends. To make it little more easier, it is said, avidya or ignorance must always be of someone and about something. This is important. Ignorance must always be of someone and about something. In the Upanishads, it is very nicely said in one of the Upanishads, Chandogya Upanishad, sage Narada, who is always devoted to Narayana, 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 sage Narada, once approached Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara is Brahma Manasaputra, the mentally created son of Brahman or Brahmadeva of the Trinity, Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara of that Brahma. So Narada approached Sanat Kumara. Narada also is created by Brahma only. But Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumaras were created who were following the Nivritti Marga, totally in themselves only, always. They are always enjoying and reveling in their own true nature. They had no inclination to do anything outside. Such a great yogis from birth. They knew who they are, what is reality, what is truth, how wonderful it is. We are quite opposite. But we are not at fault, we are made like that. That is real, we are made like that. So when we are made like that, what can we do? When a company makes an instrument like that, what can instrument do? We can't do anything. So we can comfortably, successfully throw the entire blame on him only. So Narada approached Sanat Kumara and said, "O great master, I know so many mantras, I know so many things, but I do not know myself. Myself, meaning my true self, my inner self, my real self, my original self, my highest self. I do not know myself." If in this century, if somebody goes and tells to someone, "I don't know myself," then you would definitely think, then that person will definitely think, he is a little loose. I said somewhere, "You don't know myself? What is this?" But in a spiritual place like India, especially with the spiritual masters, if you go and say, they don't misunderstand. They very well understand. They will think if you don't ask this question, there is something wrong. The moment you have started asking the question means, oh, some sense is coming to you. That is how they think. So Naradaji went and asked Sanat Kumara, "I do not know myself." And then he said, "Since I do not know myself, please teach me. Please give me the knowledge of my true self. Give me the knowledge of Brahman. I do not know." So now the important thing is, Two points we have to understand here. One is, Narada said, I do not know myself. Who does not know? I do not know. That means I know that I do not know. That much I should know, that I don't know. So, what is the locus of this ignorance or avidya? The locus. I do not know. So, the locus, when he says that he knows that he is ignorant, I know that I am ignorant. Meaning what? It is referring to the locus or substratum. So, avidya needs a substratum. I know that I don't know. He knows that he is ignorant. So, for avidya, the substratum is the self only, the Atman only, the Brahman only. For avidya. And what is the content of avidya? He said, because I don't know, you teach me self-knowledge. The content of avidya is self, Brahman only. The substratum or the locus is Brahman. The content is Brahman. What is the content of ignorance? I want to know. What you want to know? Brahman. So that is the content. And who has it? What is the substratum for this avidya to remain? What supports this? Brahman only. So, avidya has a locus and content. The locus and the content, both are Brahman. That is why all the acharyas said it is related to Brahman, it is connected to Brahman. The indeterminable, insentient power of Brahman, inexplicable power of Brahman, that way also it can be said by the acharyas. They have said that. Like our happiness and misery that are manifested by our witnessing consciousness, our Sakshi Chaitanya, they are Sakshi Bhasya. I know that I am happy, and I also know that I am not happy when I am not happy. That's why I say I am miserable, meaning I know my misery, I know my happiness, I know my joy, I know my sorrow. So that means the Sakshi Chaitanya manifests the joy and sorrow, meaning it witnesses, it illumines. The Sakshi Chaitanya illumines. The one who is called as inner space of the pot, because of the conditioning of the pot here is called as body, mind, intellect, memory, ego. So whatever is there in connection with the pot, that is illumined by the space. If there is light everywhere, splendorous bright light spread over everywhere, and then if I place a mirror there, in that mirror also this bright light need not be a bulb-like or a sun-like or a moon-like, but there is light. That light also, see, sometimes when the sun is covered by cloud, still there is light. Even that light, when you place the mirror reflects that light also. There need not be a concentrated light somewhere. A spread over light is there. It is spread over everywhere, and then you place the mirror that reflects that light also. Not only sun, but sunlight also it reflects. Like that light is everywhere, and then there is a mirror, and that mirror also reflects that light. The same light is everywhere, same light is in mirror also. From the standpoint of mirror, that is inner light. From the standpoint of mirror, this is outer light. This light is everywhere and outer light, that light is inner light. That inner light manifests, that inner light witnesses. Like that, from the conditioning, from the standpoint of this mind, intellect, memory, ego, equipment, which is a reflecting media or medium, the inner light, that is Sakshi Chaitanya, the witnessing consciousness. Because of the conditioning, the inner light, that witnesses, that manifests. Whatever is there in the mind, happiness, sorrow, joy, sorrow, happiness, misery, all that is manifested, all that is witnessed, all that is illumined by Sakshi Chaitanya. That is why I know I am happy. What is unhappy or happy is the mind, is the ego. But I know, I am aware of the happiness, I am aware of the unhappiness. Whatever is manifested by, illumined by Sakshi Chaitanya needs no other pramana. Similarly, avidya also is manifested by Sakshi Chaitanya. Every object that is manifested by witness or witnessing self is manifested either as known or as unknown. That is why I say, I know these things, I don't know those things. All are manifested by the same witnessing self, either as known or as unknown. And the masters have said, avidya is neither bhava padartha, presence. Positive. Two meanings of bhava padartha. One is presence, another one is positive. Nor abhava padartha, absence and negative. It is neither bhava padartha nor abhava padartha. Neither presence nor absence. Neither positive nor negative. But the acharyas say it is referred to as bhava padartha, referred to as presence. Because it veils Brahman. Because an absence cannot veil Brahman. So it's a presence, it veils Brahman. And then it conceals, meaning it conceals the nature of Brahman and projects it as God, individual soul and the world. This clarity about avidya helps us to move further. Meaning, we should have knowledge of ignorance. Avidya means ignorance. So we should have knowledge of ignorance. There was one person from England came to California. He was born and brought up in England. As he was traveling in a train in California, he came across an American who is born and brought up in America. Both of them met each other in the train, in the compartment. And as they were talking and all, so the man from England said, I had been to California. Where in California? Asked the American. So this man from England said, I had come several times during the same months, several times I have come in the past. Where? Yes. To San Jose. That American said, What is that place? San Jose. Then he said, No. It is not English of Britain. It is not English from England. It is American pronunciation. The J is said as, pronounced as H. So San Jose. H. Please remember this. This is not England, this is America. So then the American asked, you said several times you came in the same months. Which were those months? Now this man said, June and July. So he thought every time there is a H, you have to say J, every time J, you have to say H and Hune and Hule. Already he told, no, this is not, England, Britain English, this is American English, British English. So ignorance, even in transactions, creates confusions, not only for us, but also for others. We should know how to present and how to communicate about the ignorance of the person also. This man did not know how to tell that, how he doesn't know. He thought every time he can say like that. The other person also communicated like that only. But our masters are not like that. They know how to talk to people who are ignorant about their ignorance. That is very important. They are talking to people who are ignorant about their ignorance. It's not easy. It is like telling a mad person that he is mad. Can you tell? It is not possible. Very difficult. Because he will never accept, first of all. And he is mad also. It is very tough. But still they try. That is why they have compassion. And another thing here is, when we go to the deep sleep, avidya is there in deep sleep. Avidya means I don't know, the ignorance. I don't know whether I am a body or not a body. I don't know whether I am a man or a woman. I don't know whether I have knowledge or no knowledge. I don't know whether I am rich or poor. I don't know anything. I do not know in deep sleep. So that avidya is there. Since the jiva, see, the reflecting medium for Brahman to appear as jiva is what? Already we have seen, even Sureshwara says in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Bhashya Vartika, that Brahman reflected in mind is jiva, Brahman reflected in Maya is Ishvara. So, mind is a product of avidya. Avidya is identical with Maya. So a product of avidya is internal organ. In that, one of the segments is mind. So there it is the jiva. So because this mind also is merged in avidya in deep sleep. Mind also is merged in avidya. That's why we don't have any tensions in deep sleep. No responsibilities, no botherations, no tensions. Bhagavan really has made this beautiful arrangement. Whatever we might do in the morning, afterwards an intermediary stage, dream. But after we enter into deep sleep, nothing of that will be there. Total rest. We don't know anything. No burdens, no responsibilities, no relationships, no frustrations, nothing is known. And we are very happy. That itself tells whether we are happy with things or we are happy without things. Tell me, every day we go into deep sleep. When nothing is there with us, we are so happy. And when somebody wants to come and wake us up, we will pounce upon that person. You are waking me up and happily sleeping. Happily sleeping means without your presence I am very happy. Without your requirement I am very, very happy. Why you want to make me see you and recognize you? And then it starts. Every day this is the experience. But still we feel we need the whole world for our peace and happiness. Every day we experience that without the world we have peace and happiness. Sometimes when we say to somebody, without you I can't be at peace, I don't know whether we are telling truth or untruth. Without you I can't live, but happily you live 10 hours, 12 hours. Not knowing whether the person is still with you or not. So that is a beautiful arrangement to understand something of our ignorance and the substratum for the ignorance. So there is complete avidya. Mind and intellect also are merged in avidya. So the reflecting medium is not there. Jiva cannot be the locus of avidya. Reflecting medium has to be there for jiva to be there. So that is merged into avidya. So that also is not there. What else is the locus now? Brahman. The substratum for avidya is Brahman. Brahman alone is the substratum for avidya or maya. Avidya or maya is not hanging in air from somewhere other than Brahman. Brahman alone. In various other stotras, Adi Shankaracharya himself says, Maya is the consort of Ishvara. It is Amma. So you need Amma's Krupa to transcend Amma's magical charm. You understand? When Paramashiva was left to himself in its own true nature, there arose a slight movement. That movement is the consort of Parameshwara. That is why it is Parameshwara Ashraya. He is the substratum for Amma to appear. In order to avoid all the claims in 20th century, who is superior, he said, Hardhanarishwara, go. Half. Because we don't go to that extent to understand who appeared in whom and all that. Whatever it appears to our eyes, so half, go. No question of any lesser or any higher. It is equal. So we now understand that consciousness alone is the locus of avidya. Maya is the upadhi of Ishvara. See, it has got two phases. Avarana phase and Vikshepa phase. Or we can call it as two powers. Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. Veiling power and projecting power. The Vikshepa Shakti or projecting power is active in the case of Ishvara because Maya is the upadhi or limiting adjunct of Ishvara and Ishvara is the ruler of Maya and Vikshepa Shakti or projecting power is active. That's why, all this is projected. And whereas in the case of Jiva, the veiling power is active, more active. That is why Jiva is ignorant about the true nature. Maya does not delude its abode. That is why Ishvara is not deluded by Maya. But Jiva is because he is a reflection in the upadhi called as avidya or the products of avidya, mind and intellect, is deluded. Jiva is deluded. So it is adjunct of Jiva. So these are the two aspects of the creative power called as Maya. There was one person who went to the priest, the father, to make a confession. He went and told, because there is a nice arrangement there, you go and then confess and then he says something to say or do, and after that you can feel that you are relieved from that burden of committing such thing, whatever it is. So he went and said, Father, priest, please help me, assist me. Said, what? I stole wood from the furniture shop. He said, why? I stole this wood because I had to build a kennel for my dog, a small place for it to stay. To build that kennel, so I stole the wood. Now please help me, I feel bad that I have done that. How to get out of this, get over this, the sin that I have committed. He said, Hail Mary, 3 times. Say Hail Mary 3 times. You will be absolved. So this man felt nice. Okay, I can be absolved from the sin. Then he said, Father, I stole more wood from that furniture shop. He said, more wood? You did not say earlier? No, this is more wood. For what? In order to make one chair, table and a bench in my garden. To make that, I stole more wood. Now, Father, what should I say? He said, Hail Jesus 5 times. You say, Hail Jesus 5 times. You will be relieved from that. Then he said, Thank you, Father. I feel nice. Then he said, Father, I stole more wood from the same furniture shop. It was like installments, He's telling it in installments, what he did. Probably he didn't want to tell it at once, installment. Then Father was surprised. What is this? Installment basis he is releasing all this information. But I stole more wood. I had to construct a garage for my car, so I needed it, so I stole. What should I say? What should I do now? Then he said, 10 times you say, Hail Jesus! Hail Jesus! He nodded the head. Then I said, Father, what? I stole more wood from the same furniture shop. Then Father also was surprised. What is this fellow up to? In order to have an extension for my house. Extension. That's why I stole this wood. Now what, Father? Then the father asked, So many times you stole, from which furniture shop you stole? He said, Father, it is your furniture shop. Furniture shop in this town, from your furniture shop I stole it. Then the father said, Oh God, you come to me for help and you steal furniture from my shop. What should I say about this? This man said, Hail Jesus 20 times. The mind goes on committing one after the another these so-called mistakes because of the ignorance. And the mind itself, while remaining in ignorance, wants to find relief. What relief it can get? A time-bound escape, that's all. The real relief or release from such entanglement can happen only when there is knowledge. That is why there should be that trust in the source of knowledge, which is very important. The scriptures, the teachers, the masters. Then only we can gain that knowledge. Now we have understood something about ignorance. We have some knowledge about ignorance. So from here we proceed, a very beautiful explanation of the masters. Ignorance is the main cause, the ignorance, avidya. Avidya or ignorance of one's own true nature, one's own highest nature. Avidya is the basis, avidya is the main cause, avidya is responsible for all the things, including the Brahman appearing as the Jiva Jagatishvara. Now, because of avidya or ignorance leads to, now this is a step by step, very nicely analyzed by the masters for our understanding. Avidya leads to, because of ignorance, I don't know my true nature, I don't know the real nature, I don't know the highest nature. Ignorance, avidya, I don't know. That ignorance. Because of the ignorance, it leads to aviveka. Aviveka means lack of discrimination. Why there is aviveka? Because of ignorance. Because of avidya, because of ignorance, there is aviveka. Aviveka means lack of discrimination between what is real and what is unreal. So we do not know what is real and what is unreal. What is Atma and what is Anatma. We do not know. Why we do not know? Because of lack of discrimination, aviveka. Real also will be there, unreal also will be there. We don't know what is what, which is what. Is it not a confusion? If we don't know what is real, what is unreal, it's a confusion. We do not know what to do then. And whatever we do might again lead to another further confusion. So what happens is, because we do not know what is real and what is unreal, because there is no discrimination, lack of discrimination, that leads us into abhimana. Please understand this, abhimana. Egoism, abhimana. Abhimana. What happens there is, because of aviveka, lack of discrimination between the real and the unreal, we take or mistake the unreal to be real and the real to be unreal. It is possible. The unreal is taken for real and real is mistaken for unreal. So, because of this aviveka, there arises abhimana. Because of this abhimana, what I do here, this body is there, I think this body is real. This is Atma. And I think the mind is real, the intellect is real, the memory is real, the ego is real. What is Anatma and what is Atma, I don't know. So what happens here? I take this body as real. So, because I take this body as real, and then what happens there? Then I get identified with it and say, I am. I am. I am this body. And then, slowly, this body is mine. I and mine. Now see the important thing. When I say I in this whole universe, when I say because of my lack of discrimination, the anatma body, unreal, which is anatma, which is not really real, but is transactional real, this body which is apparently real, this body, which I say as I, rest all in this universe is not I. Did not the division start here because of ego, abhimana? I am limited to this body, this is my pervasiveness, this is my boundary, this is my area, this is I. So anything other than this, not I. All the things that are connected with the body, related to the body, are mine. What is not connected with this body in the whole of the universe is not mine. So now, two things. I, not I. Mine, not mine. Where is the division, my dear friends? Is it externally somewhere in this world? All the divisions in this world, whatever type they may be, whatever things they may be, are all rooted in this Abhimana. I am this limited body, I, and not I. All of you from the standpoint of I are not I. I am concerned what is connected with I. I am not concerned with whatever is connected with not I, that is you. So whatever happens to not I am not bothered only. If you have a leg pain, you have a headache, what does it matter? Not I. If you are suffering loss and all that, not I. And then you have lost your money, your investment, and you invested in some shares, and then you lost the money, not mine. Not mine, I am happy, I am smiling only, not mine. Only when I know that whatever money I gave you, that only you invested, and you my money. Just now I said not mine. Now, why? That mine. Somebody is sick, somebody fell down and hurt. Not I, not mine. Your brother-in-law, if you don't take care, your wife will also make you like that. My brother-in-law. This division, please see this clearly. The division that the people point out in the world is not actually in the world, it is inside this mind, in the internal organ. It is the ego. Abhimana lakshano ahankaraha. Ahankara is having the quality or property of Abhimana. This is the Abhimana. When people make big statements from the platforms that we should all be one, how it is possible? If you carry the ignorance and eyewash, you say that one, keeping this division inside, externally presenting a superficial thing, how long it will sustain? How long it will survive? That is why these divisions, the fights, the conflicts between races, groups, sexes, haves and have-nots, rich and poor, whatever division you see in this world, color-wise, whatever you see, all the divisions are because I, not I, mine, not mine. Oh, this I and mine may be connected to something. But that something also is what? I, not I, mine, not mine. Why this is there? Lack of discrimination. The division, I. When I am I, not I, mine, not mine, this is called as Bheda Bhava. Difference. The thought of difference, the feeling of difference, Bheda Bhava. It divides everything in this world. Segregates, divides, fragments, split into pieces, cut everything into I, not I, mine, not mine. This is the source for division. This is the source for all conflict, all fighting, infighting, all wars. This has to be resolved. Not superficially outside, my dear friends. It is inside. Only the day I see some underlying continuous connectivity that connects all these external appearances, at least intellectually if I understand, then I will see the oneness. then these divisions will drop away. I should belong to that culture, that philosophy, which ingrains this thought in us that everything is one and everything is divine. At least I should intellectually understand it. Till then, between husband and wife also, when it goes to the extent of misunderstanding, I, not I, mine, not mine, are they not fighting? Even as a family, are there not infights? Even between the father and son, the parent and the child, when it goes to the extent of mine, not mine, I and not I, is that not fight? There is the fighting going on because of the division. Keeping all the ignorance, we stand as one family. This is. I can talk about oneness, I can move around with oneness. When it comes to risking I and mine, then I will show my real nature. What you belong to, how much you belong to me. That moment I say me. When it risks me and mine, then comes out my real nature. Till then I might make promises, till then I might say, holding hand in hand, we are all together and then we are all one and all that. That day, the moment when it is the question of risking I and mine, then I will see, I will show how much I really identify with you. How much I really am for you. I, this, mine. Anything other than this, whosoever he might be, she might be, other than I. When this division is there, any day, take it for granted from anybody in any relationship, any day, I can create misery to you. I can shock you. I can disown you. I can reject you. I can kick you. I can shun you. I can shock you. Is it not happening in relationships? Is it not fooling ourselves, keeping this ignorance and then say we are all together? Illusory togetherness. It is false promise. The day when I know that my happiness is affected, my security is affected, who are you? I care a hoot for you. I don't care for you. So I, not I, mine, not mine. Once it is there, then there arise whatever is I and mine, I like. And whatever is not mine and not I dislike. Raga, Dvesha. Likes and dislikes, attachments and aversions, like and hatred. Is it not happening in our minds? Whatever is I, whatever is mine, I like. Or whatever temporarily I call as mine, till I manifest my real nature. Then I support that and say it is mine, and then rest is not mine. So I like, I dislike. Is there not pollution here? When I dislike. So here arise like, dislike. Then whatever I like, I have kama, desire. And if there is any obstruction to my desired object when I am desiring it, krodha, anger on that obstruction, whether that obstruction is a person, place, situation, thing, whatever it is. So, ragadvesha, kama, krodha. started? Is it not enough to pollute? Is it not enough to create a havoc, a cyclone, a twister? That is enough. So because of abhimana, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, likes and dislikes, desires and angers. When the likes and dislikes are there, desires and angers are there, mentally, can we keep quiet? Physically, can we keep quiet? We cannot. So what we do afterwards? We get into actions. So when I like, I do one type of action. When I dislike, I do another type of action. When I am having desire, I do one type of action. When I am having anger, I do another type of action. When I hate, I do another type of action. So, my dear friends, abhimana leads us into the ragadvesha, likes and dislikes, likes and hatreds, desires and angers, and then that further leads us into karma, karmani, all the karmas. These karmas are shubha karma and ashubha karma. Good actions and not good actions, bad actions. So good actions also have their results, bad actions also have their results. Why a person does bad action which is hurting me? Because he is having that inside the mind desire, anger, raga, dvesha. All along the person was a close consort. Left me. Because desire for something else. Because I am interested in satisfaction of my desire. But till now you were considered as mine. Now I have interest in something else. So not mine. Not mine. So I am not bothered. I go my way, you hit the highway. So, these karmas are there. We do the karmas. Automatically, we are into the karmas. Because of this force that is there, we do the karmas. And these good actions and bad actions, these karmas get established. Please understand, these karmas get established in the chitta, the go down, the storehouse of all impressions, a memory bank, an analyzer cum interpreter. When anything enters into the mind, that chitta in the form of vasanas or tendencies. All karmas get established in chitta in the form of tendencies. Karmas, ragadveshas, kamakrodhas, all. So in one word it said all karmas become established in the form of tendency. Because of the vasanas, which are tendencies, that leads us into sharira parigraha. Because we have vasanas, we have already done actions, and because in the chitta there are vasanas, we take up the body. Sharira parigraha. We take the body. As per the karmas that are deep rooted in the form of vasanas, we take up the body. Then what happens? Then thereafterwards, I am the body, more stronger. The moment I get the body, I am the body. I have to take up the body because of these vasanas. Vasanas are there, I have to take up the body. So once I take up the body, what happens? Sharira parigrahad dukkham jayate. When I enter this body, get confined by the body, limited by the body, imprisoned by the body, conditioned by the body, restricted by the body, dominated by the body, governed by the body, influenced by the body, attacked by the body, whatever it is. So dukkham jayate. There is experience of misery. Why there is misery? Because I am confined in the body, limited on this much. So what should be done? Now this is the fall. Ignorance, avidya leads us into aviveka, that leads us into abhimana, then into ragadvesha, kamakrodha, then into karma, ashubha karma, then into sharira parigraha, body. And then, because of this confinement, limitation, dukkham jayate. Okay, now what? We understand now, we do experience these dukkhas, whether bodily dukkhas or mentally dukkhas or intellectual dukkhas or whatever way it is there, we experience. This we know. Likes and dislikes are there, little bit of pleasure and pain only, this is there. This is what is we are experiencing. Now what? I don't want dukkhas. Who wants? Is there anybody who wants dukkha? Come, dukkha, come, misery, come, please. And go to the mall and get some packets of misery. You don't want dukkha. But it is there. Why? Because karmas. You already done. So it will come. So then what is to be done? Then the masters say, beautifully said in the Shastra, Sarvatmana sharira parigraha nashe sati dukkhasya nivrittir bhavati. Sarvatmana sharira parigraha nashe sati. When the identification with the body is completely destroyed, eradicated. Identification with the body, not the body. They didn't say the body is to be destroyed. You need not do anything, that will go. When the time comes, you want to save it also, it will go. Whatever techniques you may apply to slow or wrinkle-free cream, or whatever it is, finally the body will disintegrate and then disappear. Oh, we need not send it unnecessarily. It will go only. Anyway, it has to leave us. Why to send it early? It will go anyway. So it is not the body. It is the identification with the body. Because even in sleep, we don't know that we are body, but in the vasana form, the body identification remains. As a vasana, the body identification remains. That's why it says sarvatmana, sharira parigraha nashe sati, at all levels. That means in the waking state, we have to eradicate this body identification. Not in the deep sleep state. Deep sleep state, anyway, we don't know we are a body. But still that avidya is there. But still that vasana is there, that I am the body, body vasana is there. Deha vasana. So, we have to eradicate that. Okay, then to eradicate that, how it can be eradicated? The body identification. It is possible only when we eradicate all the karmas, all the ragadveshas, all the kamakrodhas in the chitta. In the chitta. All these tendencies that are there in the chitta, all the karmas which have established themselves in the form of tendencies or vasanas in the chitta, we have to eradicate all the vasanas, which are, in other words, karmas, ragadveshas, kamakrodhas, ityadi, etc., etc., etc. It is like telling to go out and start counting the grains of sand on a seashore. Keep counting. We don't know how many are there. We can't even dissect. If it is one or two, we can do that. So, then how to do that? So that can happen, the eradication of all the tendencies, all the vasanas can happen, chitta can be completely destroyed only when the abhimana is removed. That is where the technique is. It is not holding each vasana and then trying to apply sandpaper to it and then erase it. Or filing paper to it, or filing it like that. Nail filing and all this filing, that filing. Or wood filing and all that. Not smoothing, not like that. Each one. You catch hold of abhimana and hit it. Finished. When abhimana is hit, nothing not mine. Then vasanas are not mine, samskaras are not mine, tendencies are not mine, karmas are not mine. कुछ भी नहीं है हमारा. वो किसका की है? It belongs to somebody, it is not mine. What a state it is to say that. What a level it is to say that. What a way it is to say that. Naham deho janma mrutyuh kuto me, naham prano kshut pipasa kuto me, naham chittam shokamohau kuto me, naham karta bandha mokshau kuto me, naham deho janma mrutyuh kuto me, नाहं प्राणो क्षुत्पिपासा कुतो मे, नाहं चित्तं शोकमोहौ कुतो मे, नाहं कर्ता बन्धमोक्षौ कुतो मे, नाहं देहो जन्म मृत्युः कुतो मे, नाहं प्राणो क्षुत्पिपासा कुतो मे, नाहं चित्तं शोकमोहौ कुतो मे, नाहं कर्ता बन्धमोक्षौ कुतो मे. Atma-shatakam by Sri Adi Shankara, sloka number 6 of Atma-shatakam. Naham deho janma mrutyuh kuto me, naham prano kshutpipasa kuto me, naham chittam shokamohau kuto me, naham karta bandha mokshau kuto me, naham deho, I am not the body. Janma mrutyuh kuto me, where are the birth and death to me? Naham body, I am not the body. If I am the body is born, the body dies. Naham deho janma mrutyuh kuto me, I am not the body. From where are the birth and death to me? How can the birth and death happen to me? Where are the birth and death to me? Naham prano kshutpipasa kuto me, I am not the prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Naham prano, I am not the pranas. So where is the hunger and thirst for me? Naham prano kshutpipasa kuto me, naham chittam shokamohau kuto me. The chitta which has all the tendencies of karmas, ragadveshas, Kama Krodhas, Naham Chittam Shokamohau Kuto me. If there is impression of sadness, if there is impression of pleasure and joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor, all this, Naham Chittam Shokamohau Kuto me. Chitta itself is not I. That whatever is there in Chitta, how can it be I? If there is karma in Chitta, it is not I. If there is Ragadvesha in Chitta, it is not I. If there is Kama Krodha in Chitta, it is not I. If there is impurity in Chitta, it is not I. If there is misery in Chitta, it is not I. If there is grief in Chitta, it is not I. If there is a delusion in Chitta, it is Chittas, it is not I. Naham Chittam Shokamohau Kuto me, Naham Karta Bandha Mokshau Kuto me. I am not the doer, mind is the doer, ego is the doer, intellect is the doer, Chitta is having the storehouse. I am not the doer. Naham Karta Bandha mokshau kuto me. If I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the sufferer. Where is the bondage? Where is the liberation for me? Liberation and bondage are for ignorant mind and intellect. Naham karta bandha mokshau kuto me. This is the level which everybody reaches if we eradicate all the tendencies in the chitta. Adi Shankaracharya, in his heights of experience, this is the real state in which they lived. This is the standpoint from where Gurudev also said, I am not the body. It is not to claim, it is to show the joy that he is no more the body. It is not the body. Naham karta bandha mokshau kuto me. I am bound by happiness, unhappiness, entangled by these likes and dislikes. I can't stop hating, I can't stop getting attached. I don't know how I should save myself, and I am being forced by the tendencies. They are troubling me, they are pushing me, they are kicking me from inside. Outside the world is pulling me, inside these are pushing me. I am becoming a push and pull train in between. Pushed by inside, I can't stand steady. Pulled by outside, I can't stand steady. How to get out of all these things? I don't know how to control myself. Anger also I can't control. Attachment also I can't control. If I like also I can't control. If I dislike also I can't control. I don't know what is control. I know only to roll. Simple, one stroke. You understand. You are not the karta. Where is bondage? Where is liberation? The moment, the day you understand you are not the body is a product of Maya. Out of Maya, the Panchikarana happened. Because of that Panchikarana, 5 elements and 5 elements mixture, this and that became the body. You jumped into it and said, Ayya, it is Maya. It is not there. The day you say that. So that's what beautifully is said here. When the Abhimana or egoism is eradicated, all the Bhedabhavas will get eradicated, completely eradicated. How can the Abhimana get eradicated? Only when Aviveka gets eradicated. Lack of discrimination, Aviveka, you eradicate it. Abhimana will not be there. Abhimana not there. Nothing is mine. Nothing is mine. You enjoy. Whatever is there in your chitta, it is not yours. Whatever is there in your body, it is not yours. Body is only not mine. Chitta only not mine. Intellect not mine. Memory not mine. Nothing is mine. I am a free bird. That is real freedom. Not paisa freedom, power freedom, other freedom. That is necessary for living, of course, transactionally. But real freedom, in spite of all these freedoms, still all suffering. Whether you live in a developed country, underdeveloped country, fully developed country, and more developed country, overdeveloped country, but with undeveloped knowledge, what we can do? Still these things will continue. Externally there might be so many things. Internally the same Abhimana remains, same Aviveka remains. So wherever we go, our quota of misery will follow. Wherever we go, our prarabdha will follow. Our karmas will follow. They will make us follow low. There was one patient who went to a doctor and showed the doctor, look at my earlobe, it is red in color. Doctor also looked at it, because of some viral infection, it has become a rash and all that. Don't touch it. If you touch it and then start tickling it and then doing some, doing something to it, it will become, the whole body will become like that red tomato. Don't touch it. Then doctor, what should I do? I discovered in the morning red. Take these tablets. 1 in the morning, 1 in the night. Full 14 days. And after 14 days, if it still remains, come and see me. Oh, doctor, that means it may remain? It will go, but if it still remains, possibility. It might have more intelligence than the tablet. Sometimes it is possible. These viruses are more intelligent than this medicine. They know how to safeguard themselves, protect. I and mine is there for that also. I am there, why will it allow to die? You can die, but not I. That will also say. We can't say that my virus. So, we went to the doctor. Doctor gave tablets. After 14 days, still it is red. Came back. And again, doctor, oh. Then he changed the tablet. Now 7 days, enough. Go. Doctor, if it remains, come back. So he went again, he came back, doctor. Now the doctor said, the tablets will not do. Then doctor looked keenly, then he understood. Then immediately gave one tube. Apply this. It will go. So he went and applied. And the moment he applied, it's gone. He came running to doctor. Doctor, what a miraculous tube you have given. The moment I applied, it is gone. What is that medicine, doctor? The doctor said, it is a lipstick remover. You know why it is. So, to remove that, if you take tablets inside and change the tablets, what will happen? You have to apply a remover. It will get removed. First of all, you should know how it can be erased, removed. So simple way it can be erased. Why it struggle internally? And some tests and scanning and this and that for that, which can be removed just like that. What can be done? So that is why remove the aviveka. No, tackle simple things. So aviveka, how it can be removed? Removed. Aviveka can be removed when you remove avidya, ignorance. Tackle the ignorance here. Don't sit and meddle with all the vasanas and all that. Tackle the ignorance here. Ignorance remove, avidya is removed. Avidya is removed, avidya is ignorance is removed, aviveka is removed. How to remove aviveka? Remove avidya. How to remove avidya? Simple statement. Brahmatmaikya jnane jate sati sarvatmana ajnana nivrittir bhavati. Very beautifully said. Brahma Atma Aikya Jnane Jate Sati. The moment you understand the oneness between your inner self and the higher self, you know that your true self, the inner self, is not different from the higher self. My inner self is not different from the higher self. Atma, my inner self, not different from Brahma. Brahma Atma Aikya Jnane Jate Sati Sarvatmana Ajnana Nivrittir Bhavati. Ajnana gets completely eradicated when the knowledge of oneness of the jiva as not different from Brahman arises. It completely gets eradicated. And how to attain that knowledge? Vedanta Vakya Vichara. Vedanta Vakya Vichara. That is why I come to Chinmaya Mission and attend the study group. In the study group, Vedanta Vakya Vichara, Shastra Vakya Vichara, discussion or discrimination or analysis or understanding, thinking or right thinking of the sentences in scriptures. Vakya, sentences. Vichara, thinking, analysis, understanding, discrimination. Of Shastra Vakya, Vedanta Vakya Vichara. That is why Gurudev said study groups are important. That is why he started talking. Not holding everybody and then telling how many vasanas are there. Come on, let us. One stroke, ignorance, remove. That is there, everything gets removed. Once it is removed, extension 2 more minutes. Once it is removed, then Adi Shankaracharya ji once again in Atma Shatakam says, Naham deho nendriyanyantarangaha Naham karaha Pranavargo na buddhihi Dharapatya Kshetravittadiduraha Sakshi Nityaha Pratyagatma Shivoham. Listen. Naham deho nendriyanyantarangaha Naham karaha pranavargo na buddhihi Dharapatya kshetravittadiduraha Sakshi Nityaha Pratyagatma Shivoham Sakshi Nityaha Pratyagatma Shivoham. Naham deho, I am not the body. In that state of understanding, when the ignorance is gone, I am not the ego anymore. I am not the separate identity. I am not the ignorant identity claiming to be separate. I am claiming to be independent, where I am dependent and enlivened and brought into life by the reflection or the spark of Brahman consciousness. So now I understand I am not this, I am that, I am the inner self, and inner self is not different from Supreme Self. I shun this ego, I disidentify with the ego, I disown the ego, I disown as this limited, confined, separate identity. I disown this, I am not this. I am that inner self. I am not the conditioning of the pot, I am the inner space. I am not the mirror, I am the light. So when I understand this, Naham deho, na indriyani antarangaha, Naham deho, I am not the body. If I am not the body, then am I the sense organs? Na indriyani, I am not the sense organs. Antarangaha, Naham deho, nendriyani antarangaha. Antarangaha is the mind. Not sense organs, not the body, not the sense organs. If I am not the sense organs, then I am not even the mind which sees through the sense organ. Na ahankaraha pranavargo na buddhihi. I am not even the ahankara which says I am. Now I have understood that is the culprit which says I am. When it is dependent upon my inner self, it says I am independent of inner self with cover. It is no more saying that I am dependent, so I am not the ego. Pranavargo na buddhihi. I am not the pranas. All the pranas that are there inside me, I am not that. I am not even buddhi. I am not even the intellect. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. I am not the memory. I am not the ego. Dharapatya kshetra vittadi duraha. I am distanced from. I am distanced from. Because when I say I, then there are mine. When I am not I, this only I am not. I am not even the inner claimer, the ego. I am not the person, or I am not the entity which has the thoughts mind. I am not even the discriminating intellect. I am not even the chitta which is storing all these impressions. When I am not this internal organ, when I am not this body, what is there can be called as mind. So, Dharapatya kshetra vittadi duraha. I am distanced from. Dharapatya, distanced from children, meaning daughter, meaning wife, meaning husband, meaning home, meaning money. Dharapatya kshetra vittadi duraha. I am distanced from money, I am distanced from home, I am distanced from all my people, all my relatives, I am distanced from all of them, because I am not the body, I am not even the mind which registers all these relationships, I am not this. Then what am I? Then if all of them are not you, what are you? Sakshi nityaha pratyagatma shivoham. Sakshi nityaha. I am the nitya, eternal Sakshi, witnessing, eternal, witnessing consciousness, the inner self. Sakshi nityaha pratyagatma. Pratyak means inner, innermost, inner self. Pratyak, inner self. That which is inside, deep behind my internal organ, illumining the internal organ, enlivening the internal organ, enlivening the body, that inner self. Pratyak also means highest. The innermost is the highest, said by one word, Pratyak. Sakshi nityaha pratyagatma shivoham. I am that auspiciousness, Shivaha, auspiciousness, Mangalaprada, that auspiciousness, that blissful Shiva. Aham Shiva, I am that Shiva, I am that Shiva Swarupa. Sakshi nityaha pratyagatma shivoham. Sakshi nityaha pratyagatma shivoham. Pratyagatma shivoham. Even intellectually, at least for a contemplative session, if we sit down and contemplate upon this sloka and the content of this sloka, at least mentally, only for time being, only for as a sadhana, as a practice, if I start understanding and trusting this, and I say, I am not the body, I am not the sense organs, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego, I am not the memory, I am not the pranas, then it is a different state. Automatically the intellectual thinking will take us into those frontiers where for a few seconds the intellect stops. When I am not all this, what am I? Sakshi Nityah Pratyagatma Shivoham. I am Shiva himself, not different from him. When the intellectual understanding becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, there are few occasions where heart opens up and receives the grace from the above. In those grace-filled moments, we take a jump from these limitations into that unlimited. We see the glimpses. So for contemplation, all this is very important. All that we have to do is, as much as possible, get exposed to these things and constantly, continuously try to find some time to contemplate in this manner. Whenever there is some time, utilize it for contemplation. Then we will be in a different level of consciousness. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।